Thank you so much, Reb Shmuel, for opening us up with some good Adar energy, some good Simcha energy. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So it's very exciting. We're getting closer and closer to Purim. And this week we're going to be fulfilling two mitzvahs, which there's a mitzvah aseh, there's a positive commandment and a negative commandment. The first one is remember what Amalek did. And the second one is don't forget. And we're going to be fulfilling that this week. And in truth, this is not a mitzvah aseh shazman grama. This is not a mitzvah which is time bound, even though we do read it this week. The reason why we read it this week is because the Chacham, the sages, established that we read it this week because it's close to Purim, and Purim is very connected with the inyan of Amalek, Haman, the downfall of Amalek. But in general, the mitzvah of remembering and not forgetting Amalek is not time bound, and therefore women are also commanded to hear this week's Parshas Zachor. And the Chacham evaluated that what's considered remembering and what's considered not forgetting to hear it once a year. Meaning it's not considered as if you forgot it if you hear it once a year. And therefore, you fulfill it by hearing this week. But I want to take it a step deeper because the inyan of Amalek is a very, very, very interesting topic within Judaism. And personally, I don't know any Amalekite. I don't know anyone personally. However, as we know, the Torah is not a history book. Reb Meir, so good to see that name. But the idea is that we know that Amalek is not a history book. I mean, the Torah is not a history book. And it's relevant to us in our everyday life. So we have to figure out what is the shoresh, what is the root, where is Amalek within our life, achshav. So let's open up. Let's take us back to where it all began with Amalek, where Amalek first pops in to our lives. So the pasuk, this is in Beshalach, we actually just went through this. The pasuk in Beshalach says, this is right after, could you imagine, just this is an amazing, the sequence of events is unbelievable. We see all the makos, we leave, we see the splitting of the Red Sea, we come to the Midbar, we experience the man, we experience Hashem taking care of us, and then we ask this unbelievable question. This is when we started complaining, we're thirsty, we need water, they start complaining. Moshe tells Hashem, you're about to, look what Klal Yisrael is doing to me. They're going to kill me, they're going to stone me to death. And Moshe is commanded to hit the rock to provide water. And the way the pasuk ends off, it says, Vayikra Shem Hamakom Maso Meriva. The place was named Masa and Meriva. Why? Al Riv B'nei Yisrael. Because the Israelites quarreled. And because they tested Hashem, saying, Hayesh Hashem bekerbenu im ayin. Saying, is the Lord present among us or not? And immediately after, the pasuk says, Vayavo Amalek, and Amalek came, Vayilachim im Yisrael b'Refidim, and fought with Yisrael in Refidim. Rashi points out on Vayavo Amalek that it's not a coincidence that Amalek comes specifically after we ask the question, is the Lord present among us or not? Hayesh Hashem bekerbenu im ayin. This is not a coincidence. And let's just read Rashi. Samach Parsha zo lemikra zeh. The pasuk or the Torah connects these two ideas, the idea of Hayesh Hashem bekerbenu im ayin, is Hashem among us or not, to Vayavo Amalek. Lomar, to tell us that this is Hashem talking, so to speak. I'm always amongst you. keichem. And I'm always ready to help you. I'm here to provide for all your needs. And you say, Hayesh Hashem b'kerbeinu imayin, and you, Klal Yisrael, say, is Hashem amongst us or not? You guys have suffix. You guys are in doubt whether I'm among you. I just took you out of Mitzrayim. You saw all the miracles of the Makos, the man, everything, and you're complaining? Chayechem, Hashem says, I swear, Shakelev ba, that the dog is going to come, the nosheichaschem, and it's going to bite you. Va'atem tzoakim li v'teidu heichon ani, and you guys are crying out to me and saying and questioning, where am I? And listen to what Rashi says. Rashi says, Mashal, this is compared to la'adam, to a man, shehirkav bano akseifo v'yotz la'derech, to a man that picks up his kids, his son, and puts him on his shoulders, v'yotz la'derech, and they go out on the way. And the son who's on the shoulders of his father says he sees like some object lying on the floor, and he says, Abba, could you pick this up for me? And give it to me. And what does the father do? Who knows? He gives it to him. And this happens a second time. And it happens a third time. Pogu ba'odam echad, and Amar lo also aben. So they meet a person, they bump into a person walking down the street, and the son asks, Re'isa as Abba, did you see my father? After he saw things on the floor, and each time he asked his father, could you pick this up for me? Could you pick this up for me? Could you pick this up for me? And the father did it every single time, picked it up. And then they bump into a random person, and the son questions, have you seen my father? So Amar lo aviv, the father says, Eincha yodea heichon ani, you don't know where I am? You don't know where I am? I just took you out of Mitzrayim. You just experienced the Makos. You just saw Kriyas Yamsuf. You don't know where I am? Hishlichu me'olov, the father takes him off his shoulders, ubaha kelev u'neshacho, and the dog comes and bites him. This is a very powerful thing. What Rashi is saying is that it's a direct correlation. The fact that Amalek came after the fact we challenged and we asked the question, Hayesh Hashem b'kerbeinu imayin, is the Lord present among us or not? Is Hashem amongst us or not? There's a direct correlation for the fact that Amalek came after, because Hashem, the question according to Rashi was, we were asking Hashem, Hashem provided for us, Hashem takes care of our needs, and we know that, we've experienced that in our lives in the times of Mitzrayim. And we get thirsty, so we start freaking out and we start saying, is Hashem amongst us? Hashem says, okay, you're challenging, you don't know where I am? Just wait one moment, and then you'll cry out to me, and then you'll find out. But the way Rashi is understanding this is that the suffix that, and obviously the outcome, the fact that Amalek comes is not the root of the issue. That's not the shoresh, that's not the root cause of the inyan of Amalek. See, that's the consequence. The Amalek existing in an external form in our life, where we experience that kelev, those obstacles that really bother us, that's just the consequence of asking this question, Hayesh Hashem b'kerbeinu imayin. Meaning the shoresh of Amalek, the main issue of Amalek in our lives, according to Rashi, or the root of where Amalek comes from, is asking this question, is Hashem amongst us or not? Is Hashem amongst us or not? It's a lack of amunah, it's the doubt. As we all know, Amalek is gematria suffix. Amalek is the same numerical value as doubt. But I want to take it a step deeper, because Rashi, or not a step deeper, just a different angle to this question, because one way of understanding this question of Ayesh Hashem b'karbeinu amayim is with regards to whether we have safek, whether Hashem will take care of us in emunah. Is Hashem going to provide a lack of bitachon, which is a huge inyan, which is definitely the pashat pshat. The pashat pshat of this pasuk, according to Rashi, is we get thirsty and we start having questions and doubt with regards to whether Hashem will provide. And we feel insecure and we lose that feeling and that experience of menuchas nefesh, of bitachon. That's the shorish of Amalek on a pashut level. And we need to remove that from our lives. And we need to remember that, remember the consequence of what happens when we lose bitachon, when we lose sight of feeling that security, living with the security of the fact that Hashem takes care of us, especially after we've experienced that in our own personal lives. But however, I want to take it another step or from another angle, because there's a whole nother aspect of the inyan of Hayesh Hashem b'karbeinu amayim. And this is from the Sefer, and we've been doing a lot of him, of Rav Avraham Tzvi Kluger. And I think this is a very important, everything's important. There's many aspects and there's many angles of approaching the inyan of Amalek. But I wanted to offer this as well. Rashi's the highest. Can't get higher than Rashi, but this is also beautiful. Listen to what he says. So again, the backdrop is we leave Mitzrayim, we experience the Makos, we experience everything. The miracles, the man, the splitting of the Red Sea. And then we ask this question, Hayesh Hashem b'karbeinu amayim. Va'oz Zachor, and then what happens is Vayavo Amalek. Amalek comes, Vayilochim im Yisrael b'Refidim, and they fight with Yisrael in Refidim. And as we say in Kisitza, V'yizaniv b'choas kol hanechashol machareim, and they cut off and they attacked all the ones who were lingering behind, all the ones who were in the back, the nachashom, the weak ones. Listen to this. Amalek magia. Amalek comes. Umachnes b'neshamos Yisrael machshavos shel kfira. Amalek comes and injects within the minds, within the souls of Yisrael, thoughts of kfira, but not just any thoughts of kfira. Meaning Rashi also was dealing with kfira, the fact that we lose sight of the fact that Hashem is involved in every single second of our life and that He's providing. But he says, "Melubashos b'machshavos shel gadlus Hashem v'shiflos atzma." They are enclosed within thoughts of Hashem, the greatness of Hashem, and how low we are. Hare, that is, Hashem Yisbarach kol kach gadol. Hashem is infinite. Hashem is so beyond anything we could imagine. You can't define, we can't even fathom the essence. You can't even start talking about God. And how is it possible? How is it possible that Hashem still needs us as a nation? That Hashem still wants us? Up until the point where we're getting ready, we just left Mitzrayim. We heard the words B'ni B'chori Yisrael. We hear the words that, yes, you, Hashem says that you are my old eldest son. And we've experienced Asher Boch Rabbanu. We're experiencing the fact that we're chosen. We're feeling that. Hashem just took us out. He did all these miracles. Makas B'choros, He skipped over us. And we've experienced all of this, and we're on our way preparing for Matan Torah. The Kabbalas HaMetzil She'Hashem Yisbarach Rotza, to receive the essence and the reality that Hashem wants us, B'tzorach Osam, and He needs us, so to speak. Limros Pshitu. even though he's infinite and way beyond anything we can imagine. Amalek, and then Amalek comes from Mekaris Ambati, and they cool off the tub. As the Pasuk says, Asher Korcha Baderech, they came, and one of the pshats in Rashi is they comes from Lashon Kar, cooled us off. They cooled off the hot tub. Like you have that one guy, we're boiling, we're on fire. And we're not just on fire, we're on fire with excitement to Matan Torah. To receive the Torah, which isn't just a book of rules, it's Hashem. It's Hashem saying that you are going to be the people, the Mamlechas Kohanim V'Goy Kodesh, that's going to reveal me, that's going to create a dir b'tachtonim, that's going to make a dwelling place in the lower worlds for me to dwell in. And they come in and they cool us off. But Zen Nigram Lidoros, because of this cause, that us Jews, we don't believe in truth, but omek nafsho, in the deepest depths of our soul, that there's a part of us that's in doubt. Hashem really chose me. Hashem wants my mitzvah. Hashem wants my Torah. Hashem wants my positive actions. Hashem really cares. Like it really makes that big of a difference to him. Like he's beyond. Like it really, v'yesho nachas ruach me'itanu v'tzorachosanu. And that he has a nachas ruach and that it gives Hashem, whatever that means, some sort of pleasure in the fact, obviously beyond anything we can imagine, we have no idea what that means, and that he needs us. And that through our actions, we actually affect all worlds. Me, lowly me, human being, like my actions make a difference. Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu, like Hashem, who's beyond anything we can imagine. He's us.
What up, Tzvi?
That's it. Mamish. Like, come on.
I did not understand what just happened.
Rebelli and I, we had a very deep conversation where kfi is kfir, meaning when we have thoughts of kfir or heretical, you have to say hello, acknowledge them, and whatever, deal with them. Each one according to your own shirish, how you deal with them. But so that's one of our ways of dealing with it. You say, what up? You say, you want to chill there? Beautiful. Okay, that's great. But anyways, the idea is, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu ayin. Yeah, that makes sense? Okay, fine, whatever. Continue. We'll continue going.
I'm curious, but I'll ask a question later.
Okay, beautiful. So then, I just want to continue reading. I'm skipping a little. He says, Amalek gorim, Amalek causes, sheba omek nafsho hayehudi, that within the depths of the Jewish soul, lo yamin she'achinu tov, Amalek causes that deep down we don't believe that we are good. V'Hashem yizbarach rotzabo, and that that I wasn't called to come into the king's palace. He doesn't understand and live with the idea that, yes, it says that each person, b'shvili nivra olam, each person should say that Hashem created the world for me. For me, that my actions make a difference. L'ma'ano nivra ha'olam, that for you the world was created. Ubo chafetz hamelech, and the king desires you. Hu adir b'tachtonim, that each one of us personally, when Hashem says I desire adir b'tachtonim, that I want to dwell in the lower realms, as we have in this week's Parshas, ba'asu li migdash v'shachanti b'socham, plural. One of us We are the dira. We create that dwelling space for Hashem. That because of that, that's why the world was created. And even when we experience high times, moments of closeness to Hashem, we feel that this isn't really me. This isn't really my situation. This isn't really where I belong. There's that part that like, because as we see that after we fall a little bit from that madriga, belibo, in his heart, and from your heart to your mouth, you don't reveal, meaning what you're thinking deep down is, Yadati Shibasof Efel. I knew that I was going to fall. I knew that this wasn't really me. I knew that, when I was on my highs and I can really connect and feeling connected, that's not really me because, look, I fell, you see? Proof that's not you. That even when you were in a place of dveikus and experiencing those moments of closeness to Hashem, there was a very dark. There's a very what's a good word for dark? There's a very
thin,
very small, deep, small suffix saying within us, is Hashem really, really amongst us? Like, this isn't really me. This isn't really happening. Like, I know I will fall. This isn't really where I'm supposed to be. You
compartmentalize.
That's the word. Compartmentalize these experiences as demionos. It's just like my imagination, or alios, or nice. Oh, achlo etzem poshet. This isn't my essence. Zeshu tov v'rotz alasos rak tov ain't that poshet etzlo. This idea that deep down inside that all I want to do is really good. That's not me. The nice, it's demionos. It's my imagination. That's not me. And I'll show you proof. You see, I fall after. That's not really me. And therefore, and this is a medrash that Rashi quotes, that Ein Hashem Sholem ve'ein Kisei Sholem ad sheyimcha zaro shel Amalek. And therefore, Hashem's name isn't complete and his throne isn't complete until we wipe out the seed of Amalek. It's possible that, you have the first Beis HaMikdash, you have the second Beis HaMikdash, Luchos HaBrish, Kodesh HaKadoshim, V'urim V'tumim. You have it all. But deep down, even when we had the Beis HaMikdash, deep down, Amalek still existed. The suffix of is Hashem really amongst us? Like, this is nice. It's like it's but it's gonna end because this isn't really me. This isn't really where I'm supposed to be. Hashem really doesn't care about my actions. It doesn't really make a difference. The rak la'asad lavo tizgala bebriya b'shleimus yechida sheba nefesh yamin ha'yehudi b'tov sheba. And only eventually, when Mashiach comes, will we fully experience, will we fully believe in our hearts the fact that we are good. This is Amalek. Meaning, Amalek, this question of Hayesh Hashem b'kerbeinu amayin is not just, which is also, as Rashi was saying, a suffix in our emunah, whether Hashem will provide or not. It's true. But it's even deeper. It's a suffix in Amunah with regards to the fact that do my actions, do my mitzvahs actually make a difference? Does Hashem want my mitzvah? Does my mitzvah actually affect the world? Does it really give Hashem a nachas ruach? Does Hashem really care what I do? Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu? Like is he amongst us? Does he really care if I show up to davening? Does he really care if I shake my lulav and esrog, if I perform mitzvahs? Does he really care? Does it really make a difference? Does he really want me to really devote my life to it? Does it really make a difference? He's so beyond anything I could imagine. Like, okay, fine, he doesn't really make a difference. That's all Amalek. And now, just to end off, because really we're experiencing the light of the tzaddikim is already starting to spark this inyan. The Mashiach Torah is already starting to spark and starting to illuminate in our world right now. And we'll see two pieces from the Likutei Moharan where the tzaddikim are driving home this idea, the fact that Hashem desires, Hashem wants us. He cares about every single thing we do. Every single thing we do makes a difference. Every single thing we do, so to speak, is important and necessary to Hashem. Every mitzvah, every word of Torah, every smile, every time we overcome an obstacle, everything makes a difference. Or tzaddikim is noitzes me'or delos love. The light of the tzaddikim is a spark from the light that we will experience in the times to come. V'gam b'zman hazeh, and also in this time, b'tokef yimei cheshchas hagolus, in the strength, in the most deepest parts of this golus, Oro shel Mashiach maskil l'snotzitz. The light of Mashiach is already beginning to spark. Or tzaddikim mivatzvitz, v'zoreach ka'or hayom. The light of the tzaddikim is starting to emerge and is starting to illuminate like the light of the day. She'ikar oras tzaddikim, because what's the essence? Listen to the words of Rav Kluger. That the essence, what's the essence of the light of the tzaddikim? Hu agilui l'neshamas Yisrael shehinam retzuyim l'mokum, is to reveal to the neshamas of Yisrael that they are desired by Hashem. That's the ikar. What the tzaddikim are pumping into this world is that the Eibishter wants you. The Eibishter wants your Torah. The Eibishter wants your mitzvahs. And like Reb Nachman elaborates, and this Torah, Tinyana Zion, was one of the last Torahs Reb Nachman said in his life. This is a quote, because whoever knows the holiness of Yisrael, from where their sources, and he knows the sun, he knows the spirituality, the dakus, the sensitivity of where, I don't know, the dakus, how sensitive and exalted the souls of Yisrael come from. They know who Yodea, he knows that Yisrael is so far from sin. And that really deep down, and this is part of what we were talking about, the Indian of Purim, is that what's revealed is that sin is, to our neshamas, it's so far, it's not shaykh to us, really, at our essence. Because from where we come from, we're so beyond that. Because whoever knows a little bit of Hashem's knowledge, the there's a quote from Rabbeinu. He knows that the essence, the ikr of the pleasure and the delight that Hashem receives is specifically from us in this low, low world. When we sanctify God's name, this is the essence of the delight and pleasure. This is the nachas ruach that Hashem receives, whatever that means. Kamosha Kosov, this is from Musaf by Yom Kippur. That I will desire the praise of these clumps of dirt and these clumps of clay. That's what Hashem says. I want praise from you, from Adam, from Adama. That's what I want. Because Hashem has srafim, He has chayas, He has all these higher creatures, angels in the higher world. Shem that serve Hashem. But nevertheless, is specifically when the avodah comes from this world, not from the angels. He doesn't care about the angels. He cares about us. And in another place, this is in Kutmaran, Torah Yud Zayin, and all the details of creation, who b'shvil protei yisvara shel Yisrael, is specifically for the beauty, the glorification of Yisrael. Ki yesh b'chol echad ve'echam Yisrael hisparas proteus, the proteus, that each one of us have, Hashem glorifies in each one of us in particular. Hashem Yisbarach mispar imo beproteus, that Hashem glorifies each one of us in particular, not just as a nation, but each one of us individually. Even the lowest of Yisrael, even the sinners. As long as he's a Yid. Because he's called a Poisha Yisrael. He's still called a Yisrael. As we know, Yisrael, Afal Pisha Chata Yisrael, even though he sins, he's still a Yisrael. Yishba Yisparas Prati. He has his own unique, Hashem glorifies within him uniquely. There's something special and precious with each individual. Hashem Yisparach Mispari Mobe Protius. And even in every part, every action. Because in every limb, in every movement, there's a unique glorification that Hashem has and takes pride in us. And there's times the Rabbeinu says that a Yid will play with his payas. It's just like playing with your payas. So just to end off, Hashem Yisparach Ya'azreinu l'kaim ba'atzmeinu mocha timcha zecher Amalek. That Hashem Yisparach should help us to fulfill within ourselves this idea of wipe out, eradicate any remembrance of Amalek. Sha'al yedei kriyas ha'Torah b'Parshas Mechias Amalek, that through reading the parsha of eradicating Amalek, nimchas klipas Amalek shebetochenu, we will eradicate the Amalek within us. And it's very clear. We saw from Rashi. The Indian of Amalek coming, Vayavo Amalek, is just consequence. That's not the root. The root problem is Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu amayim. That question, that's the root. We need to deal with the shayrish, and we're all dealing with the shayrish, each one according to his own level. And we should be zoicha to really receive from the tzaddikim the koyach, to believe that in truth we're desired by Hashem. Hashem wants us. Shekutcha brichu v'Yisrael chad. The kutcha brichu and Yisrael were one. Sha'anachnuhu hatachtoinim. That we are the lower beings, the lower world. Asher b'shviloi nevra olam. That Hashem created the world for. And that through us, we are the ones that create a dira, a dwelling place for Hashem in the lower realms. And on us it said, Yisrael asher b'cha aspar. That Yisrael, it's on you that I take glory. It's in you that I beautify. This is the inyan. This is one of the inyanim. There's many inyanim. one of the inyanim that we could tap into coming into Parshas Zachor, to realize that the shorish is this deep suffix that we have on one level of bitachon, is Hashem going to take care of us as Rashi, but on a deeper level, do we matter to God? Do our actions, does our mitzvahs make a difference? Reb Shmuel. But yes, that's really the Indian. And Mamash, we should be zeicher to eradicate Amalek achshav. Meher b'yameinu.
Amen.
Amen.
Any questions? Any thoughts?
Amen.
Kafah.
Toda Rabah. She said,
Koach.
Thank you so much for coming on. Rebbe.
Gedroht.
What is this? You can see the readings?
Yeah, Reb Shmuel, what are you saying?
is there a lag? Can you hear me
Okay.
on good time?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so